Hello VC, what's going on? It's me, Will, and I'm back with a new video. I woke up today with the news of Taylor Hawkins' death, and it was very sad news to hear. He died, the drummer of the Foo Fighters, of course, and died at the age of 50. Incredibly sad news. The Foo Fighters are one of the first few bands that I started listening to when I started to listen to music pretty seriously. And I've always been a fan. I've seen them live a few times, especially from to hear that news from a guy like Taylor, which had such a he had such a youthful energy when he played live. Even in his own stage presence, when he would take over the microphone from Dave Grohl would go to the back to play the drums in some of the cover songs that they would play. I can't believe with somebody that just was so full of life can die so early like this. So it was very sad news this morning. So I figured I would show you some of the records or CDs that I have from the Foo Fighters, which are not that many. I do like the Foo Fighters, but for some reason it's a band that I never really actively collected a lot of their stuff on vinyl or CDs. But anyways, this is the stuff that I have. I do have a copy of Wasting Light. It's actually from my wife's collection. She's a much bigger Foo Fighters fan than me. And this is the record that came out. When did this one come out? In 2011. Fantastic album by the Foo Fighters. This is one of my favorites by them too. This one has a track called White Limo, which is just fantastic. If you check out something from the Foo Fighters from this record, check out White Limo. Great track. And I have a bunch of their albums on CD. Of course, I have the self-titled album. I believe this one didn't feature Taylor Hawkins, because I think this is the one that Dave Grohl recorded pretty much by himself when he started the Foo Fighters. I also have The Color and the Shape. This is the one that really got me into the Foo Fighters back in the late 90s. I know almost all the songs from this album. The highlights are Monkey Ranch, one of my favorites by them. My Hero, of course, and the big hit was Everlong. Great album. I also got Nothing Left to Lose. This one was also pretty great as well. My favorite from this one was Breakout. Great track. And I also have Wasting Light on CD. And this one was cool because it came in with a little piece of tape that they used for a recording session in the past. It's pretty cool that it came in with the actual CD. And I also got Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. Another one by the Foo Fighters. I don't think this one was as good as the other ones, but it still has some pretty cool tracks in it. And lastly, I also have One by One, the black cover version of it. And that's all I have from the Foo Fighters. I'll probably try to find a few more. I'm missing Sonic Highways, which wasn't that well received, but I thought it was a pretty cool and interesting concept for a record. And I still haven't picked up the last couple of records either, but I'll probably try to catch them, to find them at least on CD. Alright, so I also wanted to do a quick vinyl update. These are the few records that I've been picking up in the last few weeks. And let's start off with this one. This one is the new one from Superchunk. And it's called Wild Loneliness. And this one came out just a few weeks ago on Merge Records in 2022. Great new album from Superchunk. I pre-ordered this one, as I usually do with new Superchunk records, because I wanted to pick up the Peak Vinyl version, which is the one on color vinyl, or I guess exclusive color vinyl. There's the hype sticker. And really cool looking vinyl. This may be one of the best looking records in my collection. I haven't got one like with this effect in the wax. It looks pretty great. And custom labels. Great new album from Superchunk. They really rarely disappoint with their albums. This one is a little bit mellower compared to their other albums. I think a lot of people in the vinyl community have been sharing the same kind of thoughts. But I really didn't notice that much when the first time I listened to the record, because the songs are just so well crafted, and the melodies in this record are awesome. This may be one of my favorites from Superchunk because the vocals and the melodies are top notch. Again, Wild Loneliness from Superchunk. The highlight from this record is the one that was released as a single, a song called Endless Summer. The vocals from Mac in that song are fantastic. Again, Endless Summer from Wild Loneliness of Superchunk. And this one came in also with, since I pre-ordered it, I guess it came in with a poster promoting the record. Alright, up next I also picked up the new record from Spoon, and this one's called Lucifer on the Sofa. Great album title. You can barely read it there in the bottom of the album cover. It's the back, and this one came out just a few weeks ago in 2022 on Matador Records. I actually was a little bit hesitant about buying this one because I was just so disappointed by the previous album from Spoon, Hot Thoughts. That wasn't a great album, which is kind of weird because Spoon has normally been pretty consistent with their records, but that one wasn't that great. So I decided to wait to buy this one. I wanted to make sure I listened to it on Spotify before actually buying the vinyl. And when I listened to it, I thought it was great. So I actually went to the record store and I got the indie record store exclusive version of the vinyl, which came in on bright orange vinyl and the custom labels. Again, great record. A very Spoon sounding record. If you know Spoon, this record sounds just like a great Spoon album. Came in with a nice inner sleeve. This picture for some reason reminds me of the Starbucks lady in the logo. And in the back you get some words. But yeah, excellent record by Spoon. I think some of the highlights in this record are The Hardest Cut, Wild, and the last track on the album, Lucifer on the Sofa, which by the way has like a locked groove at the end of the vinyl. If you got this version on vinyl record, it actually keeps playing at the very end on a loop, which I thought it was a really cool effect for that song. First when I heard that, I was like, what's going on? Why does it keep repeating? And then I realized, oh, it's a locked groove. But yeah, great record. It might be one of my favorites of the year so far. If you haven't checked it out, again, this is the Spoon with Lucifer and the Sofa. Highly recommend it. And also, this is the last record that I picked up just recently. This is Kristen Hirsch with Crooked, and this one came out originally in 2010. This is a reissue from 2019. Oh, actually, it was reissued for Record Store Day in 2019, and this is the reissue of the Record Store Day reissue that came out, I think, last year, 2021. Of course, Kristen Hirsch, the former singer of Throwing Muses. And this is one of her solo albums. I'm a big fan of her, and I'm gonna go see her live in the next few months. So I wanted to pick up some of her records that I don't have in my collection. Since this is the reissue of the Record Store Day version, it's just on standard black vinyl with the custom labels. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Kristen Hirsch is one of the best singers in alternative rock, in my opinion. Her vocals are just so haunting. They will get you. They're so great. And the music is excellent too. This sounds like a Kristen Hirsch record. Very haunting, very deep, very moody. This is the kind of record to listen to at night. maybe on a rainy day. Most of her records are like that. Again, very moody record. So not for everyone, I would say, but it was still an excellent, excellent record.
I promise you everything that you like. I go Mississippi, Mississippi.
All right, so those are all the vinyl records that I've been picking up lately. And but I wanted to show you some CDs that I've been finding at thrift stores lately. I haven't been finding that many vinyl records at thrift stores, and you know that I love going to the thrift stores and finding good stuff in there. But it's becoming very, very, very difficult to find good vinyl records, especially in good condition nowadays at thrift stores. For some reason, it's become really, really difficult. But I've been finding some really good stuff on CD, which I wanted to show you in this video. This one was a very interesting find. This one's Sugar with B-Sides. And this one came out in 1995 on Ryko disc. This is the B-side compilation for the band, of course formed by Bob Mould of Husker Du after Husker Du broke up. And interesting find because I rarely find stuff from bands like this at thrift stores. But yeah, I was glad to find this one because I actually like Sugar better than Husker Du. And you may call me crazy about that, but I find their music a lot more accessible compared to the harder sound of Husker Du. But I still like Husker Du, but I just like Sugar a little bit better. Again, this is a B-side compilation. It has a lot of live songs in it. Most of the songs, even though it doesn't say live, most of them are live. And Sugar Live was absolutely awesome. I never got a chance to see them live, but from what I can hear from the live records, they were excellent. So it was a great, great find. And for some reason, this one has 17 tracks listed, but it actually has 18 songs. So it has a bonus track that I read online is supposed to only play on computers, or the 18th track is supposed to only play on computers. But I just played it on my stereo right there. And the 18th track plays just fine in it. So I'm not sure about that, why they decided to not include the last track on the track list. Either way, if you can find this one on vinyl, on CD, highly recommended. Sugar with B-Sides. Another thrift store find, Amy Mann with The Forgotten Arm. And this one came out in 2005 on Super Ego and Amy Mann Records. So pretty much a self-release. And I always liked Amy Mann. I liked her voice. I liked her sound. But I didn't have any of her records either on CD or on vinyl in my collection. And when I saw it at a thrift store, I decided to pick it up because it was in great shape. Interesting packaging on this one. It's kind of like a book. So it has all the lyrics, and for each song it has a page and an illustration as well. And this is also a concept album, so it has kind of like the picture going with the story of each of the songs. Now, I'm not a very lyric-oriented guy, but so I wasn't able to follow the story very much by listening to the album, but this definitely helps. Having the lyrics, having a picture with it, and at the end you get the credits. And this was great. I'm glad I found this one. I had not listened to this full record before I bought it, so it was a little bit of a blind buy. But it has all the Amy Mann vibes that you normally get from her music. Lots of acoustic guitars, great melodies, great vocals. Great record by Amy Mann. Again, this one's The Forgotten Arm. And lastly, another cool and interesting CD find from the thrift store, Matthew Sweet. And this one's called Altered Beast. And this one came out in 1993 on BMG. And for me being a big 90s alternative rock guy, I completely missed out on Matthew Sweet. Back in the 90s. I did not know much about it. I just knew his name, but that's about it. And until the last few years when I heard a few people in the VC talking about him, and I think he's been touring as well. I decided to, when I saw it on the thrift store, I decided to pick this one up, and I was happily surprised. This is excellent, right up my alley. Very 90s alternative rock type of sound. Great guitars on this one. I really like this. I don't know if it was a concept album too, because it has part 1 and part 2 here in the back, unless this was for the to split the vinyl version of the album into 2 different records. But it does have 2 different structures for the whole album, part 1 and part 2. But this is really good as well. Again, Matthew Sweet with Altered Beast. Check it out. I'll try to find some more albums by him. And if in the thrift store or at the record stores, if you have any recommendations about Matthew Sweet, let me know here in the comments. But that's it. That's all I have to show you for this video. I'll try to be back soon with another video. I'm gonna go see a good show tonight. A band called Massive, or MSSV, is going to play at a small venue in Atlanta. It's the new band formed by Mike Watt of the Minutemen, and I really look forward to that show. I haven't been to a show in quite a bit of time, so I really look forward to seeing that one. I'll probably try to tell you a little bit about that concert in my next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.